Hey guys, welcome back. This is Dan up here at Wgautowraps, and today we're going to be putting some stealth paint protection film on this badass G Wagon right here. First steps here, we got to, we're just basically just going over and double checking the prep that's been done on the vehicle so far. Obviously with this type of matte satin finish here, you don't want to polish over it in the prep process because you'll put a shine on the surface, which you don't want on something like this. So basically this has just been washed. It's been, you know, clay mitted very lightly. Once again, you just don't want to get too aggressive with the paint so you don't damage the finish on it. Double check these wraparounds here. Make sure they're all clean. Very important to get the wraparound edges clean. Where your seal's gonna be on your product here, and just want to be ensured that it's not gonna be peeling up down the road and it's not gonna get dirt and whatnot underneath it. Just need to have a good clean surface for the product to adhere to. The finish on this satin finish here is factory, and that's why we're gonna be installing our XPEL stealth paint protection film on it so as not to alter the finish any, and it'll keep the same look that it's currently got and still provide the protection that the customer wants. Ceramic's always an option, but if you're wanting to really protect your paint from chips, you need to go with the paint protection film versus the ceramic. Any contamination that may have been left behind during the prep process, just to ensure that we've gotten everything off there that can be removed off the surface, so we have a nice clean install. This is our gel tanks, just pressurizing these guys. A lot more user installer friendly, if you will, versus just your regular, you know, spray bottles that you're pumping out and blowing your forearms out. So we got the hood cut out, and up here on the glass, I've already weeded it. I've removed the excess film off of it, but now we're going to spray it down with the XPEL gel pre-install here. You just want to keep it so you know it stays on the glass and it's not falling off on you, so you'll do it a little bit at a time, section it out. We're gonna double gun it. Double gun. I got like a 2-inch wraparound, so I'm mostly just focused on the vent back there, yeah. I'm trying to basically get the cutout around the vent, centered around the vent. That's kind of where I want to start at, and then I'll work my way out from there. Just want to start locking down the film here around these reference points here. Basically just trying to get the film to fall down just short of the wraparound of that bend right there. That way we won't have any future issues with lifting and dirt and whatnot getting underneath the edge of the film. You either need to drop it just short or be fully committed and go all the way around like you do with the wraparound edge. Anywhere in between is going to be problematic. Looking pretty good so far. It's really hard to see the edge of the film when you're working on a light color like this. So it's a challenge to see that edge and be sure you're getting it just where you want it. Just trying to work slow and meticulously. Looking pretty good so far. Just mostly concerned about the edges here, getting this all laid down without having excessive quantity or size of fingers, whatnot to try to have to lay down. But it's looking pretty good so far. Getting all that air squeezed out of there, that'll help a lot. Get that out of your install prior to squeegeeing down. Generally try to work the center of your panel first and work your way out is ideal in regards to just being able to keep a close eye on it as you install and identify any contamination that may arise during the install and allow you to come back and lift up and get that out. Oh, there's a lot of places to go wrong. One thing right here with the Stealth, it's 8mm film. Generally we're installing 10mm film. It's a little thinner and it'll buckle up on you a little bit easier if you're squeegeeing too hard. So you gotta be somewhat mindful of that. Taking all the excess that builds up, specifically around these two points here on the front of the hood, and getting that and working them both, this direction and that direction, just kind of spreading out the excess film there to reduce the fingering up on the hood a little bit. If it's mild, it's gonna be okay because we're wrapping it around underneath, so it'll have a good bite down on the back side to help ensure, longevity of the install. You just gotta recognize what's too much. And so I'm just trying to spread this out evenly. I'll just get some of this gel cleaned off of here so I can take a closer look at the install and be sure that I don't have any major concerns before I wrap the edges around the hood. So if it was a darker color, I'd be a little more skeptical, but strange. All right, that works though. I opted not to use the template cutout around the Mercedes emblem here on the hood, so I'm just gonna manually trim out around it and drop that edge in there. Just made for an easier install. I didn't have to fight with alignment on it, and I could get it a lot closer, you know, a lot cleaner install. It's right there on the hood, it's visible, it's right in your face, so I'll be able to get that dropped in there and won't have dirt or anything built up around the edge, around that badge. We're just gonna put some heat around the badge area of the film, just trying to get it to seat down really good for me before I trim. Gonna raise the hood up and start working on the wraparound edges now that we've got everything on the top side finished up. Just releasing the film back on this back edge, being sure I don't have any tack there when I go to raise the hood up, so we don't tear the film. Come in here and spray the gel out from around these edges here. You don't want that in there when we're trying to get these edges wrapped around and get them to seal down. Best just to use some water, flush all that out. Of course, you've always got your tack solution too that can be used. Best thing in my opinion, in most cases, is just using warm water. Now we're gonna start working on basically getting some of this excess here trimmed back. We gotta kind of decide how much of a wraparound that we want. Every panel is gonna be different. Some are a little more friendly to wraparounds, others not so much. The body moldings on the back side can all vary tremendously. So this one's got a pretty decent edge back here to wrap around on. So I'm probably gonna do about a quarter of an inch wraparound, I would say is probably appropriate. Working on laying down the corner here, specifically as far as the wraparound edge on the PPF. You got the alcohol, this is a tack solution basically right here. Bring some tack solution on the adhesive there to help get it to bite down a little bit better. And I've got some warm water here as well. Well, I just want to be sure this is basically where all your fingering is going to occur, or the majority of it. I want to be sure I'm good here and don't need to re-stretch this in any way, shape, or form before I continue on the rest of the panel. All right, guys, we just finished up the hood on this Mercedes, and then we'll move on to the next panel. And now we're going to move on to one of the doors and start working on installing it. Obviously, I'm going to start with just checking over the prep work that was done previously, and definitely check my wraparound edges and whatnot and be sure they're all clean, and then we'll get started on the install. We'll do that, do like a pre-gel, if you will, and just try to pull out any of the contaminants and things like that otherwise will come out during your install. Just try to get rid of all that good stuff there. First piece for the doors here. Every panel varies, but generally when you have a cutout and you're doing a pattern cut like this, you know, I like to try to start in the middle of the panel, just in general, but specifically this has the moldings, door moldings and whatnot that the pattern goes around, so I want to be sure alignment is solid around those, and then work my way out from there. See if this is a contaminant or if it's something actually in the coat here. It's a little black spot right here. Yeah, just a little dirt spot. Yeah, can't be having any of that in our install, especially on a white vehicle. Just working on the door cup here and getting it stretched into place. There's a seam to it behind the handle. Pretty decent, depth in the cup here. So there's a decent amount of stretch that's being applied. Working one half at a time. Getting your stretch even in your door cups. You know, some aren't too bad, but others like this one here are extremely, extremely deep. And you just gotta be sure that your stretch is evenly spread throughout. Getting all this gel off of here. So I gotta do the wraparound edges on it, but otherwise the install is complete. There's times where you're having issues with the adhesive adhering the way you'd like it to, and then maybe you wait and let it kind of air dry out a little bit, but it's important to get all the gel out from underneath the edge of the film, first and foremost. That's what I'm working on now, and I'll see how it tacks down. Going over this edge here one more time, using a little bit of like a trash pick, see if we can get a hold of that little fiber, get that guy out of there. Very hard to see, and also to kind of get a hold of, especially after you've squeegeed it down and it's kind of, embedded into the film. Stubborn to break free. It's a little black fuzzy. Pull it back up rather than get everything all squeegeed down, then be stuck with something like that, trying to figure out how you're going to get to it without putting stretch lines and lift lines, ensuring that the gel is all squeegeed out here on the edge, so when I do the wraparound, I'm not getting any of it trapped here on the edge. That's kind of what we was going for there. Now we're going to work on some of the rear bumper here, this little section right here. And anchor down around that parking sensor here first. get your stretch in the proper place so that everything lays down, alignment's right, you don't have those excessive fingers and whatnot. That obviously will be problematic over the long run. Last step, just getting these edges wrapped around here. This is Dan here at White Glove Auto. We just finished up working on this 22 G Wagon here behind me. We did a full body XPEL stealth paint protection film to keep that satin look. The original paint was a satin finish, so that's why we did the stealth, to keep the same finish. We also did a flexible ceramic coating over the top of the film. That really helped keep it clean, especially around those edges where dirt, tends to want to build up. So that's what we got for you guys. Got it all finished up, looking good. Till next time.
Call me Black College cause I make you feel the pain. This an underground hit for my homies to ride to. Skip to the loo when you're riding through my zoo. Bears and gorillas, even orangutans. The lions and the monkeys all speaking my slang. We all paper chasers with a different disguise on. I spy on green guys, that's why I got my zone. Jackson and Franklin, frankly I don't like what I gotta do to keep Jack from fainting. Nah, I ain't complaining, just venting a little. Turn my headphones up, son, and mic a little. I got the same attitude as Malcolm Little. X marks the spot, now bring it back to the middle of the map. Guess who's back with more beats, hi-hats, claps, and finger snaps? It's the real. You know I got the real, it's the deal. Real deal, you know I got the deal, it's the real.